Perspectives.
Anafram Market Perspectives, Friday, July 4, 2025. Hello and welcome to Anafram Market Perspectives. It's Friday, July 4th. While U.S. markets are closed today for Independence Day, the week leading up to it was anything but quiet. With fresh all-time highs on the S&P 500, trade negotiations heating up, and major economic data in focus. S&P 500 weekly recap. The S&P 500 posted strong gains this week, led by big tech and financials. Apple surged 6.24%, boosted by excitement around AI features. Google climbed 3.45%, Nvidia added 2.79%, and Amazon rose 2.02%. Microsoft edged up 0.28%, reflecting continued resilience in the sector. Financials also had a good run. Visa jumped 3.71%, JP Morgan gained 2.51%, and Wells Fargo popped more than 5%. Energy names like Chevron and Exxon showed strength as oil prices held steady. On the downside, Tesla fell 3.2% following renewed pressure from Trump over EV subsidies. Palantir dropped 7.86%, and Eli Lilly lost 1.82% as healthcare lagged the broader market. Investor sentiment remains cautiously optimistic as we head into earnings season, with sector rotation pointing toward tech and materials. Trump tariffs and global trade. Turmoil. Trade headlines took center stage this week. President Trump reaffirmed that his 90-day tariff pause ends on July 9, warning that tariffs of 10% to 50% could be imposed if bilateral deals aren't finalized. So far, the U.S. has reached an agreement with Vietnam, 0 tariffs on U.S. exports, 20% tariffs on Vietnamese goods, and 40% on Chinese goods transshipped through Vietnam. This deal lifted stocks in the textile and furniture sectors, but drew sharp criticism from China. Talks with Japan remain tense. Trump threatened 35% tariffs on Japanese autos and criticized the lack of rice imports. Japanese officials, meanwhile, have stayed diplomatic and firm. In Canada, Prime Minister Mark Carney withdrew the 3% digital services tax to resume trade talks after Trump briefly suspended discussions. A July 21st deadline has now been set for a potential new deal. Domestically, Trump's $3.3 trillion fiscal package passed the House and is expected to be signed soon. The plan includes tax cuts, defense spending, and social program reductions, drawing mixed reactions, even from within the GOP. In tech, chip design software bans on China were lifted, benefiting Synopsys and Cadence. Meanwhile, Trump continues to criticize Fed Chair Jerome Powell and hinted he might replace him early, citing disagreements over interest rates. Elsewhere, Israel agreed to a 60-day ceasefire in Gaza, calming Middle East tensions. Oil prices stayed stable around 77. Meanwhile, Mercosur signed a trade agreement with European countries, adding another dimension to the evolving global trade landscape. Economic data recap. This week's U.S. data gave mixed signals. Non-farm payroll sees orders jumped 8.2%, a solid rebound from April's dip. The ISM manufacturing PMI improved to 49.0, showing signs of stabilization. In the Eurozone, inflation increased slightly to 2%, with unemployment steady at 6.3%. And in China, the Caixin manufacturing PMI climbed to 50.4, marking expansion for the first time in months, despite weak export data. Globally, economic recovery appears modest but steady, though inflation remains sticky enough to keep central banks on alert. VIX. Volatility update. The VIX closed the week at 18.4, slightly down, suggesting investor calm. However, with Trump's tariff deadline fast approaching and global trade dynamics in flux, volatility could resurface quickly. Bonus section, ETF and stock picks. Let's check in on our Monday picks. XL1, Industrial Select Sector, SPDR ETF, XLI hovered around $149.34, maintaining its breakout above the Ichimoku cloud. MACD remains positive, suggesting continued momentum if industrials benefit from favorable trade terms. Constellation Brands, STZ. STZ held steady at $172.42, consolidating after its earnings run. The price remains above the cloud with a supportive long-term trend, though MACD shows signs of slight fatigue. National Beverage Corp, Fizz. Fizz closed at $46.81, easing slightly after recent gains. It remains in bullish territory above its cloud, with MACD histogram still rising. As long as support near $45 holds, the trend looks healthy. Investor takeaways: the markets remain strong, powered by tech and supported by recent trade optimism. But the July 9 tariff deadline is a potential turning point. If new levies kick in, we could see renewed volatility and a possible pullback. Stay alert to global negotiations, U.S. monetary policy signals, and upcoming earnings. The second half of the year is shaping up to be as unpredictable as the first.
Thanks for watching. If you found this valuable, hit subscribe and share this with others. See you next time on Anafram Market Perspectives.